Good morning, my beautiful ladies. We have finally made it to our final section of Present Over Perfect. This is part 6, and it begins with the chapter called Throwing Candy. I'll begin with the quote, "When we are who we are called to be, we will set the world ablaze." What a beautiful way to start this chapter. That was from St. Catherine of Siena. So these chapters I found to be just kind of little snippets or recaps or like final closing thoughts. And her message from chapter about throwing candy was a trip that she went on where in the midst of chaos, everyone present stopped to just throw candy. And she recalls that that used to be her personality. She used to be someone who would just do things for the fun all the time. And she became responsible and grown up and too cool for that. And how freeing that was for her, and a beautiful reminder of the importance of just stopping to throw candy, to be carefree and to be fully present. She asked the question, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered because you were organized and never missed a detail, you ran a tight ship, or do you want to be remembered and remember the memories that you make with your family along the way? So that was a beautiful chapter. The next chapter is Essential Self. You find peace not rearranging the circumstances of your life, but realizing who you are at the deepest level. In a way, I feel like she's kind of taking this all down to the core in these final chapters. This has been a journey for her, and hopefully you all feel that way as well as you read through this book, that this is a process. And I loved her analogy of the peeling the onion. I think that's coming up, but oh no, that's this chapter, Essential Self. She has described this process for her as peeling the onion. I use that analogy a lot when I'm working with my patients. We're trying to get to the bottom of the root of the problem. Well, to truly become present and whole and feel your soul's worth, you need to peel off the layers of or walls that you have put up to get yourself to where you are. So finding yourself can truly feel like unpeeling an onion. The beautiful part about it is that every season of your life, you guys, allows you the opportunity to let go of what you were carrying before you. So we talk about seasons of life, and many of us are in different seasons. Some of us are empty nesters, some of us are getting ready for our children to leave soon, some of us are in the midst of raising these crazy kiddos, and there's others of you here that have babies and are just starting your family. All of those seasons or transitions in your life are a time to say goodbye to things that you might be carrying that aren't serving you anymore, and to move forward. So I challenge each and every one of us to continue to do that. What happened for her is she realized that the vision she had for her life when she was younger about what it would look like was nothing like what her reality was. And she didn't like her reality. And how many of us wake up one day and realize we don't really like our reality? So that was a powerful. I like that chapter a lot. She talks about tattoos. Just a moment, bud. So the next chapter is called Heart and Yes, and that is the 2 tattoos that she carries with her as a visual reminder. She talks a little bit about the stigma of the tattoos, and her stories around it are kind of humorous, but basically she carries 2 tattoos with her, one on her left and one on her right. The heart, the red heart, being her daily reminder that she begins her day with prayer. She visualizes that red heart being just filled up with God's love, and when she does that, she knows that she's in the right place, and she's just drenched in His love. And then the Yes tattoo was kind of a fun story about another trip that she took where the advice she was given was to eat the shrimp and say yes, jump and say yes, and how she almost forgot that. But the joy of saying yes to fun, just for fun, just because, to say yes to a sweet, wide open way of living, to being wholehearted and connected, and that's really what she wants. So those are her 2 reminders. And not hiding behind things, you know, in that held us back in the past. So say yes. Ballard Locks was a chapter that she shared, kind of a personal, vulnerable time in her marriage where her husband and her went away, and they were experiencing, like many of us, people around them whose marriages were falling apart because of whatever, lots of reasons. And so they actually connected with each other on that trip and were able to share what they may be vulnerable to if they allowed themselves to be, and they apologized, and it just was a meaningful place in her marriage. I know myself, when you get married and you're at that stage of your life, everyone around you is getting married, and then everybody's having babies. And I will never forget the first time friends of ours from college, who had been together since, you know, high school, we heard they were getting a divorce, and then again and again, and you hear these things, and it sort of rocks the naivete, is that however you say that word, in me, that you know, just because you say yes to something and someone doesn't mean it's gonna stay forever true, especially if you don't continue to communicate with each other and be honest and real and focus on the relationships that truly matter, you guys. And that is what, to me, this book has been about, is realizing what's the most important. Relationships are the ones that are inside your home. New Fuel is her chapter, where she really just shares how she used to live dependent on other people's opinions and expectations and the achievements, and getting her books published and that sort of thing, and how as a writer it's been a difficult transition to go to being fueled by love. It's a slower, deeper burning fuel than the hurry, hustle, bustle, but it is a more meaningful place to be, and she knows that it's going to be good for her moving forward. And the soul felt its worth, so a little more reading to do. Oh, this was just the Oh Holy Night, our Silent Night song, where she reminds everybody that we all crave on this inner level to feel our worth. And what does it matter if you gain everything, like the Bible says, yet you lose your soul? And what a shame that would be. And it is our soul that needs to be fueled. You know, a lot of us here, we're really good at taking care of our bodies, and you know, we got the exercise piece down, and I make sure you guys know how important it is to take care of the mindset with the personal development, but it's the soul that a lot of us are missing. And the only really way you can continue to commit to fueling your soul is to go back to the silence and to take the time to be present, and to, you know, to know that you are loved just as you are. Feeling your soul's worth doesn't come from achievements or a bank account or rank advancements or whatever. It comes from, you know, that deep, you know, knowledge that you are loved and that every soul is worthy. Our soul is what allows us to connect with God on that deep level, and so how very important it is for us to continue to take care of that. Okay, you guys, we're winding it down. She says, bring in the love, and I think this is the last chapter. So I'm going to read the verse that she starts. It's actually from Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 to 30. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. This chapter basically is her recap of how she invites love, you know, bring on the love in her life. And she says she didn't have, you know, just a few traditions in her life, but the one thing they do is on New Year's Eve, her family comes together and they share their 10 greatest blessings. And what a blessing it was to her at one point when her son said, counted one of his blessings to be that their family was connected. And what a beautiful, thing to hear your child say, and that in this busy space of life we need to focus on the connections, and the love in our relationships is what truly matters. And how do you want your families to feel when you get through this time, whatever stage of life you are in with your family, whether your children are babies, middle school, or adults, how you can always work on the relationships that you have with them. And so this was just kind of a beautiful reminder of we really are here for love, and it is through being present with our family that we can feel that love, and then being present in silence is how we feel the love of God. And so those are my biggest takeaways from this chapter, or from this book, really. And she ends with the poem by Mary Oliver called "The Journey." We're all on a journey, you guys, and I know it took us a little longer to read this book, or maybe for me to finish these recaps, but it does us no good if we take time to do this personal development and don't actually implement anything. So I would love to hear from all of you that read this book together with us, what it was from this book that you took away that you will implement. And for me, it was honoring the struggle of, it's okay that I don't love everything about myself. I don't have to please everybody. I'm going to mess up from time to time, and it's the relationships with my family that matter most. It doesn't matter what other people think. I can't control that anyways. And I am going to aim for a more calm, more fun, just for fun, for throwing candy in our house, and margins between times, the beginning of the day and the end of the day. I tend to fill my days up with my to-do list, and I plan every hour. And so those are my takeaways to try to be more fully present with my family. Thank you guys for taking time to listen to this little bit longer video. Please share your takeaways with me, and just thank you for being part of this journey with me. Have a great day.